Yeah.
Oh, wow. Coming in Kool-Aid Man and whatever the heck the other thing was. But I'm into it.
Yes, I'm
Kool-Aid.
coming in Kool-Aid
Still
Man.
haven't tried it. Probably
There's still
good.
time. There's still time.
Yeah.
We should do a taste test next time I'm with you.
Ooh.
Like when the plague's over.
Do they have anything that tastes similar to the lemon lime Gatorade?
That is a good question. Because when I think of Kool-Aid, I just think of like the classic, whatever that red one was, strawberry or cherry or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Have they branched out? I don't know. Lincoln drinks one that's blue. I don't know what the hell that is. That's questionable. It's probably just bad parenting in a...
No, everybody loved blue stuff. That's like the number one thing that you love when you are a kid. It's
it's like an endocrine disruptor.
Turns oh my God. You think that's why? You think somewhere deep down we like the effects of it?
I think maybe.
And so then...
That's bleak.
Yeah.
Episode 490 took a dark turn real fast.
Right. We haven't even gotten off to...
How's Sarah today? On a scale of 1
Sarah's
to 10.
fantastic. But in that I had to, I'm like, well, let me answer that question. How am I? I'm like actually I'm in a really good mood. I'm like a 7-8, all things considered. But what takes me to a 9 is reminding myself of this hilarious Gatorade meme that I'm just going to read to you because it's hilarious. It said, if you ever meet someone who calls Gatorade flavors the actual name of the flavor instead of the color, they are 100% a cop. And then somebody responded. And then somebody responds and goes, yeah, but you got to specify Frost, Glacier Freeze, or Cool Blue. You can't just say blue because there's more than one blue. And then somebody else replies, blue and light blue. Nice try, officer. And it's my favorite meme.
That's funny.
I just think that is so funny. And because it's all text, it hopefully translates over
oh my
the podcast.
God.
But every time I see Kool-Aid now, it's like blue and light blue, nice try, officer. It's so true. So you're such a narc and such a cop if you call it like Glacier Free. Nobody calls it that.
Oh
Get out of here. Oh, that cracks me up.
Good times, great oldies.
Yeah. So
I could go for a wine right now. I mean...
Wine?
Yeah, I wish I was drinking right now.
Oh, my God. Well, I can't wait because we're going to have our Q&A later.
That's
and
right.
And we can drink.
Well,
and it's book club. Let's get loud.
Wait, did we talk about that on the air yet? About Jennifer Lopez doing that?
I think so. About how I think you were telling me, like, because I hadn't watched it and how, like, she couldn't help herself.
I think that was just a private conversation.
Oh, really? Oh, oops. Look at me telling. I never know. Oh.
Because, like, I mean, what was that? Why did that happen?
We did.
But God bless her.
I mean, I kind of I'm into it.
Yeah,
and now that's like my response to everything.
Let's get loud.
I just love it. I'm just like, let's get loud. Let's get loud. God, she's so beautiful.
She's right, though. We should get loud. So, whatever.
Yeah. Do you believe that she's not ever had any Botox?
I do not.
I do not either.
I do not believe that, and I don't
want to
know why.
believe women, but I...
Oh, right. We're supposed to believe women. There's too much at stake for her to admit that, I guess. But I do wish people would be honest. I always tell people there is literally nothing on my body that's attractive that I did not pay for.
That is such bullshit.
It's true.
It's so not true.
No,
it
is
gorgeous in every way. Like
maybe that's why I really like the men who are into feet because I didn't do anything to those babies.
Oh,
that's all natural.
But you don't even. What you got to like manicure them and keep them up and like do that shit?
True, but that's just grooming. That's not alteration.
Oh yeah,
I'm fine with it. I don't care. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah. Talk about this all day. Never get to the actual things maybe you want to talk about. I don't know.
Okay. This is probably a good episode to talk about this because as Sarah knows, I just interviewed Annie Potts, who is one of my comedic idols. And now that I've interviewed her, she's one of my just regular old idols.
Maybe you know her as Bo Peep.
Yeah, Bo Peep from the Toy Story franchise. She's also on Designing Women. She was in Ghostbusters. She's on Young Sheldon right now.
Oh, Oh, goodness.
Yeah, I mean, she's got this incredible career, and she's like a sleeper, like she's just always there, reliable, whatever. So anyway, I didn't actually ask her about Toy Story because we were talking about other stuff, but
that's fair.
I just watched. Did you ever on Netflix watch the Pixar documentary?
Of course.
Okay,
I watched
did you
it
watch
before it? I watched it long enough ago to where if it's called, called a Pixar story?
Yeah.
I watched it the year it came out.
My God, that was 2006.
Yes, I watched it long enough ago. I was living in San Francisco at the time,
and
I was so obsessed that the guy I was dating at the time went to the Pixar studios, took a rock from their little rock garden because he worked in tech, in the design, like graphic design business, and so he knew where it was and everything like that, and got it in, and and so I was that obsessed.
Well, okay, then this is going to be really fun to
talk
talk about because I just watched it the other day and I didn't realize when I started it that it was old, because it just sort of came up on my screen and I was like, oh, that'd be interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
How's it hold up?
Not good.
Oh, I hate that.
Sarah.
I have had a run of those lately. It might be everything.
Oh, it's bad.
Please tell me. Oh, my God. This is such a good topic.
Well, it is because you love Pixar more than anyone I know. I love Pixar like a normal person. And
that's such a funny way to say that. And I argue with none of it.
So I was just excited to see the process, how they make their animation, their story, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I mean, I got an hour in without seeing anyone with a vagina. Number one.
God. Yep. Oof. Yes.
And there was not one person of color for the whole thing. That is fucked up.
No, I know, that's everything. I think we go back. Oof. Yep.
I mean, that's how it was, whatever. But it was so noticeable. And I'm glad that was true. I'm glad that now at least we're aware of it. And then now we can start to undo it. So what struck me, though, in addition to that glaring problem, is how it happened. And they were describing how, Disney started a school for animators in, I don't know, 1990 or something like that. Maybe the 80s. And these guys all these white, nerdy guys. Mm-hmm. And so they're just all surrounded by each other and think that that's just how it is. And then when they were done with school, they hired each other. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, who should we hire? Oh, how about my friend Doug?
Matters.
Right. And so if we just hire people that we know already, they're going to look like us. They're going to have the same 100%. Lived experiences that we have. And then you get the problem of the stories that those people create are not going to be representative either.
Right.
And
one story.
Yeah. So, it was fascinating to see, like, Toy Story and how they came up with the idea and how difficult it was for them to sort of be the first people to do computer animation and how all of that is fascinating. Mm-hmm. But there was also a sadness where it's just like, damn it.
Yep. God. Yeah, I went to go watch, there's this documentary called, it must be from, I think it's probably from that same era. Maybe it's from like 2001 or something like that. Old. And God, I can't believe that's old now. Crazy. Because it feels like yesterday. But it's called The Aristocrats. Mm-hmm. And it's about, do you know this?
Yeah.
Yes. That does not hold up.
Why?
Because there's nobody of color in there.
Oh,
and there's, except Whoopi Goldberg, but for a second. And then what I hated that they did, and it was Sarah Silverman and Whoopi Goldberg, that's like it for women. Wow. And then they use them in the, like, because it was a DVD. So the title page, like the menu.
Yeah.
They use their image as if to say, it's like 50-50. Look at, we have, like, it feels so like a tokenism. Like tokenism. And it's Penn and Teller who, it's that, and I don't think he has a reputation for being very, So I watched it with Ren and because I was like, you just have to hear this joke because it's so funny and blah, 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 blah. I felt like, I was like, this, I was like, yeah, we can turn this off.
Comedy is the
noticeable.
worst.
Like, I was like, God, we were not hearing any voices. And like, they had Chris Rock, but it was like, it was the ratio. It
was so obvious.
So noticeable. And it was just like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
It's really impressive anytime a woman or a person of color succeeds in comedy, because you can imagine what they're up against, because every club owner is just like those guys in that film,
and think about how you have to like really there's so much like sacrifice.
Well, and how they do like
play to the masses instead of like what you really want to do.
If you have a show that night, they'll be like, well, we can't have 2 women, we can only have 1. Like, they really believe that if they have more than one woman on the bill, that people won't pay to see it.
So stupid.
I hope that's changing, but that certainly
then it's like a woman's show, right?
Right, and then it's very like
a woman's event.
Yeah, centric.
Lady, yeah, I hate that.
But the good thing is,
everything that's awful.
I haven't seen this one yet, but I heard on Twitter that on the Disney Plus app, there's a new documentary about a person at Pixar a woman, I believe she's a woman of color, who just started tracking the number of lines that every movie had in terms of ratio of women to men. And she didn't, she wasn't aggressive or whatever about it. She just made a note and told everybody, here's the numbers. And so just the awareness that someone was tracking it started to shift things. And so now we're seeing more and more, and they have data on it. The percentage is going up and up and up of women with lines in Pixar movies, just because this one woman didn't think to herself, nothing I can do. She thought, yeah, I'll just do this small thing and maybe it'll work. And it did. So that made me happy.
I love that. And just pointing out, I think it's recognizing what can I do and what can I control and what can't I control.
Well, that's
I can't get everybody to change right now, but I can inform them about this.
That's how I feel about modern fertility as well.
Yes. Oh, good segue.
Thank you.
Oh,
good segue. Because what can I control? I can't control how many eggs in my body are viable or fertile, but I can control whether or not I know that information.
Yes.
And thanks to modern fertility, we can. Yes, because you can get a test that you can take it home and send to them for a fraction of what you would pay at the doctor's office. And you will find out, do I have any fertility red flags? Do I have a lot of eggs? Are they like super ready to go eggs? Whatever. I don't know what they tell you.
What are my hormone levels? Do I have polycystic ovarian syndrome?
Right. And this is all empowering information that we need to know, regardless of whether we plan on having children or not. And you can make better decisions based on that information. And I just love that it's cost, what's the word?
Effective.
Cost friendly for people that they can't afford thousands of dollars going in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive, all the fertility
stuff. It's a freaking good deal.
Yeah.
That's what you call that.
They created an easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home. And right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/braincandy. That means your test will cost $139 instead of hundreds or thousands it could cost at the doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfamily.com/braincandy, modernfertility.com/braincandy.
Super easy. I did it.
Super easy. Yeah. Okay, next topic.
Next.
Did you see I don't know whether you'd call it a documentary, but it's basically like a one-man show. It's called In and of Itself.
Yeah. Somebody said, I saw something where we were tagged in that, like maybe encouraging us to see it.
I posted that on our Insta story after I watched it.
Oh.
Maybe that's what you saw.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Okay. It's on
But
Hulu.
I didn't see it. Tell me.
Okay, so I just saw a tweet that was like, you have to watch this, it's life-changing. And anytime anyone says that, then I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And so it's basically this guy, Derek Delgadio or something. He's a magician. And
I'm in.
oh, right, you love magic.
Susie.
Right, I forgot.
love magic.
Well, the thing is, I don't even know how to describe it because, yes, there are magic tricks, but it really is a performance, and the essence of it is about the ways that we label ourselves. So you might say, I am a
Hello.
therapist, I am a daughter, I'm a girlfriend, whatever. Whatever, however you see yourself. And then the ways that can inform your identity and vice versa. And it is so powerful to see people being seen and the emotion that it draws out when someone feels truly seen.
Well,
It's
I'm
very
going to
moving.
love this.
You will love it. It's so
Oh,
powerful.
gosh.
What's funny, though, is that I'm sure that this sort of, the filming of this show was invite only, and so a lot of the people in the audience are famous. So Bill Gates was in the audience.
Wow.
Tim Gunn.
Oh, wow.
David
Yeah.
Blaine. People like that. And
Look at I'm like more excited about Tim Gunn than Bill Gates. I'm like, Tim
you
Gunn?
will crack up because Adam goes, is that Tim Gunn? And I go, yeah, but that's Terry sitting next to him. Terry's a producer of the challenge.
Terry is sitting next to him?
Yeah, and I go,
Get
I text
out.
Terry and I go, Terry, we're going to have a long talk about it in and of itself.
Yes.
But that was funny. But you see all these very powerful people and seemingly regular people having to identify who they are and then having a magician perform these tricks that expose that or confront that. It is so
Oh, my
moving.
God, I can't wait. Wow, I have no idea what that means or what that could be, and that's why I love magic.
The two tricks at the end, like the second to last one and then the finale, I cannot get out of my head. I don't know how he did it. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm already excited.
Oh, my God. And after you
Come
watch
on. Let's keep talking and wrap this up so I can go see that. I'm just
when
kidding.
you
I'm
do
just
watch it, you have to tell me what you think, how he did
Oh,
them.
well, I'm going to have an entire theory on that.
Thesis on that. Okay, so that's
Or
on
just
Hulu.
be like, I have no idea. I don't know. I love that, having that response.
Yeah,
Ooh,
because
can't wait.
that can be enjoyable too, just being like, that blew my mind, the end. So
I'm not going to be like that. Come on.
okay, and then one more recommendation. My friend Ryan, he has a new film out. It's on Amazon Prime. It's called Assassins, and it's about the two women in North Korea, or not North Korea, in Asia, who poisoned Kim Jong-un's brother and killed him. And they say that they thought they were on a prank show, and they had no idea that they were incurring harm upon someone else.
Wow.
And that's just, the story itself is what blew my mind, because think about, number one, like, what if that happened to you? Like, oh, you're going on the real world, but then...
Oh, my God.
Something like
and
that.
if they set it up right, you would totally believe it.
Right. And he said, one of the things that I hadn't thought about is, like, how hard it was to convince them to do the movie, because it's like a fool me twice type of thing. Like, what if...
Oh, my God.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to be in a movie. Or are you?
Or are you? Oh, my God.
North Korea
Ooh,
is freaking
gosh.
fascinating. Is it not to you? Like, I spend a lot of time thinking about North Korea.
I spend my time thinking about other things.
Can't
but
say that I do, Sue.
Can't say that I do, but, I might throw it into the ring for a think next
It's
time
just-
I'm, looking to increase the size of my stomach ulcer. I'm kidding, I don't have
Because
one
just
of
the
those,
logistics of being a dictator seem overwhelming to me.
Yeah,
a funny
convincing
thing to
everybody that you
And then they go along
have
with
never
it.
taken a shit
Yeah.
is probably my favorite one.
Wait, is that what he claims?
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't defecate.
Get out
Yeah.
of here.
Yes.
That might be my new favorite thing about this whole situation.
That's my favorite.
Why would you
Yeah.
even lie about that?
There's like a funny the explanation for why. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I will just encourage people to give stamps.com a try. Here's why. You don't want to go to the post office right now, or really ever. You want to print postage from your desk or from your home, wherever you are, and just ship it right there. You just put it in the mailbox, and the mail carrier gets it. You can send letters, packages, and you get discounted rates on USPS, UPS, and more. It's just a one-stop shop, and it's so convenient. Saves you time and money. I've been using it for years now, and I just can't believe some people aren't. So it's a no-brainer. Stop wasting time going to the post office and go to stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with our promo code BRAINCANDY, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's stamps.com, promo code BRAINCANDY, stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. What'd you find?
Yeah, same. That they were too perfect to urinate or defecate, and who would imagine such thing amongst gods? And it's a few wacky tales that North Koreans are forced to believe. So.
See, this is what's crazy to me, is that we have a whole country of people who are basically, they're kidnapped.
They also believe that he could drive by the age of 3.
That's a weird lie.
Right.
Why bother?
It's just like lies that like you invent when you were. It's like he invented these lies when he was like 13. Like, I can't drive. I started driving when I was 10. Well, I started driving when I was 7. Well, I started driving when I was 3. And then that's how it is.
And then it becomes mythology.
And if you say anything, I'll kill you.
Wow. Oh my God. That's bonkers. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Sarah.
You're welcome. You know.
Would you be interested in hearing about the history of bubble wrap?
Oh, yes. Once I went to a birthday party,
She has
most
a
genius
story.
thing ever in the whole entire universe. And I must have been about 5 years old. All it was all the mom did was tape rolls and rolls of bubble wrap to the floor.
This was
Best
genius.
birthday ever.
Yeah.
Best time. It was so much fun.
That's a brilliant idea.
It was so fun. I loved it.
Like, whenever COVID's gone, that has got to be back.
No,
on the
she did
trend.
it inside. I mean, right, because people.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, you could do this by yourself. Here I am thinking,
That's
like,
true.
what's the problem? Right, because you probably wanted other people at your party. Yes, that is.
What is the psychology of why we love popping it?
Well, freaking I
just
don't know.
feels
I would
great.
imagine it's kind of like that anticipation and relief thing.
Yeah.
Like a popping a zit or something like that.
Right. Pimple popper.
Pimper popper.
At any
but this is
rate-
way less gross.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
there was
tell me the
these
history.
2 dudes, 2 scientists. They were trying to create textured wallpaper. I don't know why. They claim.
Well,
What?
textured wallpaper is nice.
I guess
I can
so.
imagine that.
But I mean,
Like sometimes
how
the ones
hard
that like
would
fancy ones that like ripples in it and stuff. That's pretty and very expensive.
I guess they wanted something. They claim that they wanted it for like the beatniks and sort of the hippies at the time. I don't know why. There must have been a demand for like unconventional house decorations.
Or maybe when you're high on shrooms, it feels good to rub the walls. Come on, sis.
I genuinely didn't think of that.
That very much makes sense to me. Probably because you've never been high on shrooms.
Right? No, but that makes sense. Boy, can you imagine how fun that would be?
You on shrooms?
No.
Or fuzzy walls?
The
all of
weird
the above,
walls when
yes.
you're on shrooms.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Well, they wanted this textured wallpaper for whatever reason. And so their first attempt was that they took 2 shower curtains, like plastic ones, and sealed them together with a sealant. But it just sort of created like air pockets, you know. So it wasn't great for what they were trying to create. But then they were like, maybe we're onto something. And so they started like applying for patents for the technique on this. I forget the name that they called it. It's some weird name.
Were they trying to get it like a bubble? Like, were they going for like, because when I think about putting 2 shower curtains together,
Right.
you're going for something where I would imagine, like, imagine if like inflatable furniture or like you had inflatable what is that, like beadboard or what the hell is that stuff that everybody's into, shiplap, like that. Was it that what they were looking for, like puff, like
sometimes I
cushioned walls.
I get suspicious about these origin stories sometimes where I'm like, you made that up afterwards. Like afterwards you thought you needed a good story.
Well, fiction is, or truth is always more strange than fiction.
Maybe they were on shrooms.
More bizarre, something. Maybe. All of this could be possible. It's a crazy time back then.
But anyway, they had written up like 400 possible uses for this stuff, including like greenhouse insulation, which didn't work out. And then at the exact same time, IBM had made basically like the Model T of computers. So kind of like the first attempt at a publicly accessible computer. And they needed a way to ship it that would keep it safe. And at the time, the only way to really cushion a package was with newspaper. And that was not effective and also like got ink everywhere.
It's crazy to think about a time before, like we had to pack stuff. Yeah, but like I know when I say it out loud that sounds ridiculous, and you're like, "Come on, Sarah." But it's just like you said this about Saran wrap once.
Yeah,
it's like there was that, or actually that guy who thought that was a crazy invention did whatever it was. But it's crazy to think that like that was a problem not that long ago.
Yeah, right. This was 1960.
That was like, we've really, when you put it like that, we've really only figured out shipping.
Yeah, how are they shipping like TVs?
In the last 50 years?
Right.
That's
We're not
crazy.
Very bright.
And you think we have everything? Oh, come on. We
so
don't
dumb.
know. We don't know a thing about a thing. We just figured out shipping. And ketchup bottles took way too long to turn upside down and store, in that direction with the top on the bottom and the squeeze. But like that took too long.
Isn't that weird how so many of the things you think we should have been able to solve this by now are still problems?
Yeah. Well,
even with that weird...
just says never stop inventing.
Right. Yeah, the work is never done.
Work's never done.
Let's see. And then they became a multi-billion-dollar industry. They started making like pool covers out of like basically the same technology, and shrink wrap for food as well. So there you go.
Shrink wrap for damn, 400 patents. That's like then throw shit against the wall, something's bound to stick.
Right. It was just a numbers game.
Yeah. They're like, or it's one of those like, look, I know it's a good idea. It'll be good for something. Just take some time.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
Don't stop believing.
How weird it would be, though, to be like the inventor of something like that.
The inventor of... There was a house where I lived growing up, and we would drive by this house, and it was at the very top of a hill, and everybody knew what it was. It was huge, and like definitely biggest house in town. The person who lived there was the individual who invented multicolored windshield wipers.
Multicolored?
And that's it. That was their claim to fame. Like, have you ever changed windshield wipers?
Yes.
You know how you can pop them out?
Yeah.
It's like a metal arm, and then you pop them out. Right. Well, imagine if the plastic part and the blade, I don't know if the blade was black, but or little rubber thing, but the arm was like neon green or neon pink. They were all like neon colors. It was like a big rage. All the rage in the 80s, I guess, or 90s.
Yes.
And I just remember always driving by being like, damn, all I got to do is invent something that's a different color than the regular thing, and I could have a house like that?
This person
probably did more than this. But
this is like the nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger story.
Yes. I was really growing... This was a precursor to me being pissed off at white privilege.
Why?
Because I was like,
felt
what?
Wrong. Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, this seems not... That's it? This is some bullshit.
Answer me this, though. was the colored windshield wiper just aesthetic, or did it have some sort of practical
Just
purpose?
aesthetic.
What?
Yeah, just like a thing to do. It would be like they invented the eyelashes on those eyelashes people put on their cars.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. And
Can you
made
imagine
enough
buying
off of that.
those?
No.
Like, I mean, I get it if you're whimsical.
And I knew somebody who did eyelash extensions as her job, and then it was like on the side of the car advertising for it. So like that, I'm like down for.
Yeah, but I can't imagine being like, you know what my car needs? Lashes.
Unless you drive a Beetle.
That is the main demographic for those.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think that that's because they look good on the Beetle, or because the type of person that buys a Beetle would also love that kind of whimsy?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm okay with I like both. Yeah.
God, I'm so blessed to be able to do this for a living.
What?
Just
ask me what questions. And
Yeah. But another
who
thing
knew
that's
we'd
a
get to
blessing.
eylashes from?
Another thing that's a
What
blessing
would
is
you? Oh, wait.
function of beauty.
Oh, no, that's important. And if you're going to care about any hair, forget about your eyelashes. Worry about the stuff that actually matters.
I can't take Sarah today. Okay. Well, as you guys know, Sarah is a hair goddess. She's becoming like a hair fluencer.
Oh, my gosh.
And her secret is function of beauty. I just realized I need to switch my formula because I detect some sort of dandruff situation going on.
Oh, don't worry. They got the tea tree eucalyptus scent you can get for that, too.
Really? Did you use it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. I got,
Okay.
well, because I don't, I like to go a little bit of time in between washes. So I like to switch it up every now and then with one that deep cleans the scalp and gets all that buildup off of there. So that is definitely a choice that you can choose in picking out one of 5 of your hair problems so that you can get a customized blend for your specific hair type.
Yeah, because you can choose whatever your priorities are. If you want to lengthen, volumize, oil control, like Sarah said, then you can make, and they'll make a personal formula just for you. So it makes sense because why would everyone need the same hair?
Also, you need to change it up when even with different seasons and stuff. It is anybody who lives in the snow and the dry, like that kind of climate is like, oh, their hair in the winter.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, you live there.
Yeah, things are not going well up on the on my noggin. I mean, it's dry, whatever. Okay. Never buy off the shelf just to be disappointed ever again. Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy to take your quiz and save 20% on your first order. That applies to their full range of customized hair, skin, and body products. Go to functionofbeauty.com/braincandy to let them know we sent you and to get 20% off your order. Functionofbeauty.com/braincandy.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of their body wash.
Oh, okay. That's
for
a good
extra
tip,
dry.
too.
I get the one for extra dry skin because you customize that too. Oh my God.
See?
It's so, what's the word? It's like creamy and rich.
I like my lotion like I like my men. I don't know what that means.
Well, you do have a British guy, and he, works
He's creamy
hard, so.
and, well, not rich, but that's all right. I love him anyway. Okay. Moving on. Let me see. One thing I thought was interesting, I read this article about a book that's coming out called This is the Voice, and it's about your voice and how it works and whatever. And I never thought about this, but they were describing sort of the science of what makes your voice yours and how every person has something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's prosody or prosody, which
I've never
they
heard
say
that word.
it's like the melody of our speech, sort of just the way we, like you were talking before we started about your mom and how she has a particular cadence, and like I noticed that with you, how you sound like her. It must be similar patterns.
Yep.
And then there's another thing called an emotional prosody, which is the way that we cue the listener that we're happy, sad, sarcastic, whatever. And we don't even know we're doing it.
Okay. That we were talking about this before too.
I believe that.
Picking up emotion in other people's voice. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's something that you could be more tuned into.
I think so.
Wow.
Because they were saying how that's why it's hard to get a computer to sound like a human, because there's this thing that's hard to define and put into an algorithm.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, because it pieces together those things that, like, that's not based on your physiology.
Right. Like the way that it's
based,
shaped your vocal cord or something. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's not mechanical or like it can't be recreated. It has to do with who you are, like your lived experiences, your conscience, it ties into like
your culture.
Yes.
All that stuff.
Wow.
Makes you you. You know, we were sad about the snowflakes that like aren't identical. But it feels like that too with voices, that what makes one voice silky smooth and one is gritty. You know, I was listening to Joe Cocker's version of Get By With a Little Help from My Friends or whatever, the Beatles song.
Yeah.
And how gritty that sound is of his voice. And then you compare it with someone like Barbra Streisand or like, you know, someone that has more of a smooth voice. And you think, how is that possible? We're all the same species.
Yeah.
But everybody's different.
Yeah.
So some of it is biological and some isn't.
You know, because I think about like birds and think about like, I'm sure as a mom, you know that you could be in a room with a bunch of, like pre-COVID, in a room, like say you're at a mall and you just hear Lincoln scream mom. Mm-hmm. You know that's him.
Right.
It is biological. We have to have variations in those tones to be able to.
Well, and babies even do it with their cries. Like,
you'll
know, like, that's a hungry cry. That's a hurt
seconds.
Cry. Yeah.
Fake cry.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Right.
Not baby, but when they know that they can, you know.
And that's like the emotional prosody or whatever that word is.
Yes.
So that was cool.
I love that.
Yeah. It's like stuff that you don't really think about, but as soon as we talk about it, you're like, yeah, I get it.
Yes. And it's the stuff that we don't really think about that we kind of almost take for granted, or it plays like we're just like, yeah, we accept it for what it is, but we have to look at that. There's a lot of information.
Yeah, what's cooking in there?
Yeah. Oh, I love stuff like this.
Okay. Next up, this is just a little something. I was reading about the rise and fall of lesbian bars.
Oh, R.I.P. Lexington.
Is that in LA? I saw a picture of that.
No, it's in San Francisco.
Oh, what the hell happened?
Lexington.
Just COVID?
It closed. No, way before that. It was like the last lesbian bar in San Francisco that was
what the fuck?
Unless they reopened one that afterwards, but
I don't think
just
so.
wasn't. It just wasn't. Well, you read the article. It didn't have.
But I want to know, like, why you think lesbian bars don't thrive in the same way that gay bars do, or normal,
because
like non-gay bars.
Lesbian. Oh gosh, at least for me, it was like the bar scene. It wasn't something that, you know. And it's interesting. The friends that I went to Lexington with were trans men. Mm-hmm. And friends of mine that I like really identified with as like a he pronoun.
Yep.
And it was more of and it felt like when I was dating women, we wanted to like not be at the bars, and like it was like art night at my, you know, our friend's house in Oakland.
Okay.
Like we like painted and like, you know, did like
lesbians
I'm not
so
even
civilized.
kidding.
It's adorable.
So civilized. It's like that. Come on, we're like doing, and then what's like games where you would like start a story and then one person takes over, and that like for real, like just community stuff.
That's so nice.
Connection, goddess energy.
Goddess
Very
energy.
Nice. I'm sure this was just my experience.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a wide range. But I don't want to you know, like stereotype here, but that's definitely it. Just wasn't the scene for. There was a very like short period of my life where, and it was really when I like didn't know how to connect to like other women.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh yeah, let's go to the lesbian bar, because it felt like that's what people do. and then once I was like, oh, no, I know myself. And then it's like, no, let's not go here.
Part of it, they said, can be explained because there isn't as much of a need for that sort of, I don't know, built community. Like you can congregate online or at other things without as much risk or shame now. But that doesn't speak to why gay bars are doing okay, but lesbian bars are struggling. And one thing they said...
You guys love to dance.
That's true. But
those queens love dancing.
One thing I never thought of, though, was that because of the inequalities in our system, that lesbians, trans people, and there was another group that they mentioned, they don't make as much money as men. So they don't have as much extra money to spend at bars.
Absolutely.
I mean,
for real.
It's that's what it was. Women, trans, and non-binary folks tend to have less leisure dollars due to pay inequity and discrimination. Holy heck. I never thought about that in terms of the effects in culture.
And that changes. And maybe that's why one group has a reputation of being more like... Yeah, like on the party scene, because there is that, or like more extracurricular, because there's free time and like have leisure activities because there's free time to do that.
There's more money, more loot.
Wow, and more money.
So that was like, whoa, I never thought about it. I just love when I read stuff like that.
Well, and it's the intersectionality. That's where that is. You have the being a woman.
Yep.
And being
queer
or
trans, yeah, right.
Yes.
So that's
or
food for
non-heterosexual or non-cisgendered. Or
apparently, there's documentarians making a film called, I think it's called the Lesbian Bar Project, and they're trying to reignite these spaces because they are important.
Yes, that was a very important space. It was where, and you know what it was? It felt like what I spent a lot of time going there for were fundraisers where the bar was setting up a fund for somebody to get top surgery or for somebody to get the hormones they needed. It was like that. Oh, that's so sweet. Well, it's sad to have that go away.
Tell you what's not sad is having really nice sheets.
Oh, no sheet. And this is what I got my brother for his birthday.
I love
Shout
it.
out to Lucas.
Brooklyn
and his new striped sheets
is where to go to get the softest, most luxurious sheets, but on an affordable price point. Tons of colors, tons of patterns and materials to fit your needs and tastes. And they have comforters, pillows, and now they have towels and even loungewear. So they are making you comfy cozy, which we love around here. I'm all about the nest.
Yes.
And a lot of, like, no offense, fellas, but you people need new sheets. So.
Oh, they do.
Like, just please take my word for it.
And get 2 sets. Yeah. Because then, or if you're like, oh, I already have sheets, you need another one.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
Get another one.
Get another one so you can swap them out and rotate them. Come on.
It's 2021. Do something nice for yourself to start the new year. To help you do that, Brooklinen has a special offer. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code BrainCandy to get 25% off when you spend $100 or more, plus free shipping. That's BROOKLINEN.com and enter promo code BrainCandy to get $25 off when you spend $100 or more, plus free shipping. Brooklinen.com and use promo code BrainCandy at checkout.
Yes.
So do you think it's time for me to invite the inimitable Annie Potts on the show?
Oh, just take deep breaths.
Okay.
The interview's already done. Don't worry.
Here's what I love.
Fantastic.
I wanted
Do you get nervous just thinking about it?
No, but I was very nervous beforehand.
Like butterfliesy?
Oh, yeah. I told Sarah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I was all day like, oh, my gosh. Breathing into a paper bag, hyperventilating.
Oh.
Because when I admire someone, I can't pretend like, oh, no big deal. I can't play it cool.
Well, Suze, what people love is that you see them, and as I'm sure you see her. Well, I know you see her, and you won't shut up about her. I mean, it's lovely, and I can't wait.
You're like,
for
I get
you
it.
To just shower her with all of that praise and love.
I just really like to celebrate people who use their platform for good and who want to make the world better. And that's what made me reach out to her. She has a charity called All Are One, and you can find it at all, and then the letter R, O-N-E, .O-N-E. And she's giving cash to people in need, people that are unbanked. Often they're food insecure, house insecure, and like she's just doing it. Cold hard cash, doing the Lord's work. And so then I was thinking about how, here's her like changing the world, and the rest of us are binging like her shows on line. But how comforting and helpful those shows can be to people and inspiring, and how cool it is when they hold up. Like they were doing episodes about AIDS and bigotry and feminism and all this stuff that's so important. And now when you watch it, you're like, yep, we still need to do that work. Like it's not over.
Yes. I love that.
She's obviously got an incredible career. She was in Ghostbusters. She was on Designing Women. She is now on Young Sheldon. And she's doing the most, and I love it. And so I just want to celebrate her. And if you're interested in supporting her philanthropy, allr.one, check it out. See if you think you could give your stimulus to someone in need. It's a beautiful thing that she's doing. So welcome, Annie, to the show. Annie Potts, thank you so much for coming on Brain Candy Podcast. I'm so honored.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I've watched a lot of interviews with you, and people always gush over you, and I just thought, well, that's going to be what happens here today again. Does it ever get old? Or are you like, oh, not this again?
No. It's like somebody asked me once, they said, don't you, if people come up to you in public, isn't that just a bother? It's like, well, my feeling is that 99% of the time, people just want to duck in for 5 seconds of your time, and mostly what they have to say is, I just wanted to tell you I love you. Who could get tired of that? I mean, if that bothers you, then you're just not a nice person, I think. No, it does not get old to be gushed over, told you're loved. I consider myself pretty fortunate.
Well, you're very lovable, and so count me among the many people who feel that same sense towards you. And actually, that inspired why I wanted to talk to you, because I've been following you on Instagram and been very moved by the work that you do to help people, in particular during pandemic when everyone's feeling quite hopeless and full of despair. I love what you've created with your friends and your husband with all R1. I wanted to hear about it from your point of view.
Well, I've been doing a lot of work with a food rescue group for many years, because my closest friend was the executive director of that. And the idea of that is just taking where there's abundance, like from grocery stores, and the sell-by date. Now, like in France, they have a rule about this. But this organization has been around for about 8 years, and they've been very successful at it. And I've been kind of tied to them. They have their ear to the ground about what's the next thing to do in terms of help. And so they came to me and my friends and said, what really needs to happen right now is this direct giving. And there are a lot of people who aren't able to get like stimulus checks. So if you got a stimulus check and you don't need it, you were surprised to get it or whatever, then maybe you could, give it to somebody else. Or if you just have extra that so we started doing that, and my friends and I, and so far we've given away about $90,000, and we have people who we've connected with school principals and pastors who are able to identify people who are really in need. And the most, I mean, they're about to, there's so many people right now. It's just who are just, hanging by a thread. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to help those people who are hanging by a thread.
I was so impressed, too, with how, you reach out to people who are often unbanked and they're vulnerable in that way, and you address that.
Well, because, people are like, why don't you just give them a check? Or it's like, because for whatever reason, that's not easy for them. Sometimes they just can't even get out to do any of that.
Exactly.
So that solves that problem. It also means that we're not a 501c, which means, it's not a tax break to give it away, but you can't, for some reason, there's all kinds of stupid loopholes.
Right.
If you're a 501c, then you can't give cash.
I didn't know that.
Yes, it's weird. So, so people go, a lot of people said, well, I would, but I can't really give to something unless I get a tax break. It's like, okay, okay.
But to me, the flip side of that is what you pointed out, which is that then all the money goes to the people in need.
Right.
That's ideal.
All of it. Yes, it's all of it.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me, it's a wonderful thing to give. And for those of us who, I've had a very fortunate life. And, I was born to loving parents, and I grew up in a beautiful place, and I've been supported, and I've had a wonderful career. People wave to me across the street and come to tell me they love me. It's really, it's like, I don't even know how I got so lucky. So I think when you feel a sense of that, then wouldn't any part of that, all of it, make you go, how could I possibly give a little bit back of what I have gotten in such abundance? So it's giving from that sense of abundance, whether your abundance is small or big. It's just there are other people who are in so much more need. And of course, the pandemic has made that so obvious to all. And I think it's a little way that even though we live in a big city, we do anyway, that you can shrink the size of where you are and act like a small town. I know in the little town that I grew up in Kentucky, if there was someone who was critically ill, or a house burned down, or somebody who was just down on their luck, the community, the churches, the school would do some kind of drive. It'd be like, we're collecting clothes for our family whose house burned down or whatever. So there was always that feeling of like, there was a social safety net that was taken care of within a community. That was, it was the advantages of coming from a small town like that. But I think that we have to take those small town ideas and apply them in a larger sense. And nobody asked for to be singled out and given an award for, finding some clothes for people who'd lost everything. So I think that more and more, the pandemic is showing us that we have to organize our small town minds for this new dynamic. So it's like, if you've got more than you need, don't you want to share it?
Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful concept, and I'm going to talk to our listeners about it and encourage them to go to the website and see for themselves. I think it's a beautiful idea, and I just thank you for doing it. Because, like, while you've made something beautiful out of a really terrible situation in the world, and I include the last 4 years in that category, not just the pandemic. But for the rest of us, we're binge watching the content that you create otherwise, right? And I was wondering if you've noticed over the pandemic or the last few years how people are using Designing Women and your work to comfort themselves.
I love hearing that. I'm very proud of that show. You know, it was a wonderful show, and we were so far ahead of our time, I think, you know, in terms of, you know, working mothers and women who spoke their minds and, you know, kind of to hell with the hindmost in the South. So I feel great about that. And also another show that I did called Any Day Now, in which is about the relationship between two women, one black, one white, and in the South. And that show has recently gone into syndication and is showing again. And that, I mean, again, our writers were so far ahead of our time. Everybody's going around oh, Black Lives Matter, and we should be able to talk about this. It's like, we did this 20 years ago, and it's all there. So I would encourage people to look up that. It's called Any Day Now. Me and the magnificent actress Lorraine Toussaint. And we just had such a great time doing that. And that show was used for at lots of colleges and things to do both women's studies and race studies, which I was pretty happy about.
I mean, right? How that must feel.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's the advantage of being ahead of your time, is that then it stands up over time and it still resonates and inspires people and has an impact. And part of me gets sad because I wish those issues that were covered on those shows weren't still a problem, whether it's, you know, bigotry or whatever.
Right.
But they are. And so we're continuing to be inspired by it. And at the time, were you thinking, wow, this is really special, or it was just another day at the office? Or both?
You know, I don't ever think I thought that it was just another day at the office. I love my work. I love it. I every day on set for me is like the happiest day of my life, really. I find it's, you know, I always learn something. I meet people that I admire and love and connect with, and it's just it's a wonderful. I have a wonderful life.
I mean, you're blessed, but you keep blessing all the rest of us, so we're just glad about it. But whenever you see things that happen now, let's say the Supreme Court confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh, for example, that can be triggering for some people, and then you flash back to the Anita Hill content on Designing Women. It's so similar. Do you feel that?
So similar.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, there wasn't another show on last year when Kavanaugh's thing came up. I mean, we had a bully pulpit there, and we used it. But I mean, aside maybe from Saturday Night Live, nobody was doing that that I know of. Maybe somebody was, but we took current events and turned them into instant remarkable TV.
That takes a lot of courage, though. Did you feel that? Did you worry this could have an impact on my ability to get jobs?
No. I mean, that's one of those things. It's like, okay, I'll go down with that ship. If I need to, I'll go down with that. I mean, I was politically, aligned with our creator too, who, is liberal. And she did not mind. I think the people in the little town in Missouri where she grew up, I think maybe they don't even speak to her anymore. But,
Right. She's been excommunicated from that community.
Well, I think, it's like now. I do believe that the people who are on the side of the aisle who's going to say that it was absolutely okay for that president to do what he did, whipping people up, sending them literally to battle, to assassinate people in the Senate and the Congress. If they're going to say, oh, well, that was nothing, then I'm sorry, they're going to be in the history books. And are they willing to go down with that ship?
Right. Listen, I study evangelicals specifically. You can imagine how much therapy I need. It's been a tough time, Annie.
Explain that to me. I don't understand how that aligns with anything that God has in mind for humanity.
It doesn't make it's incongruent for sure, but not to them, And so I just try to make sense of it, but it's real hard.
What's the tent pole that they stake their whole thing to that makes that behavior okay?
Well, they've been fed a language of martyrdom and victimhood for the entire, the last 40 years. And now we're seeing what happens when you really buy into that belief that you're being oppressed, when the truth is you're the oppressor. And also, they really believe in this hierarchy of white supremacy and other sort of rankings of people, and they're really invested in maintaining that. When equality feels like oppression to them. I know. I know, it's stunning. This is why I drink, Annie. I'm telling you.
It's why I'm trying to stop.
Well, but that's why I think what you do is so beautiful, because it can be very painful to really dig into all this stuff, but you try to make the world better.
Well, I have a little pulpit. It gets me indoors. It gets people will hear my voice, and I feel like if I've got that, it better be a kind and supportive voice. It's like there was a wonderful, here in Los Angeles, there's a human interest writer who's wonderful with the LA Times. Maybe you know about his name is Steve Lopez. And he did 2 years ago now, I guess, he did this is before pandemic. He did a series of articles about homelessness in LA, which is just unbelievable now, even more so in the 2 years since he wrote this. But he did several, profiles of people and situations, and he talked about this one school that it wasn't very far from me, and their wonderful principal, Anthony Razzo, and he has really made something wonderful of that school. 40% of the kids were homeless. 40%.
Wow.
Homeless. 80% living below the poverty line. And he had turned this school it had a whole, they're called STEAM, science, technology.
Art.
Yes, all of that. I mean, it was wonderful what he did. And I went over, I went over to talk to him. I wanted to see the children.
Nice.
I was just astonished at what I saw. And I got in the classrooms and I went and I read to the children and, got to know a couple of the teachers. And I was just, they were the most amazing children. They were all, well, first of all, they were all so beautiful, squeaky clean. If they were poor, if they were homeless, they did not bear that at all. And anyway, I just got in touch with him. He's now had a wonderful promotion I'm so happy about. But I asked him, I told him that my friends and I at All or One would like to come to him for him to identify 25 families that we could give cash to. And he was like, yeah, of course, of course we can do that. So it's just, I think we all have that instinct in us. It's like, if you see something that doesn't feel right to you, that is anywhere within your power to change a little bit, wouldn't we do it? I, for one, I was raised in a very particular time in the South. In the 50s, we lived on a farm. We had a family that lived in the tenant house behind us. They were a black family, and they had a lot of children. They were my best friends, and the mother in that family raised me, and that was such a loving relationship. I mean, she was with our family from the time I was 3 until, she died, I guess, about 5 years ago. She was almost 100. And I maintained that relationship with her. But because from the time I was rocked in a rocker, the face that I looked up and saw, the loving face of a brown woman with her tenderness, I could never, ever feel any way about people of color except overwhelming love and appreciation. And I wonder how, especially because the black and brown peoples in this country do those menial jobs. They're the janitors in the hospitals. They are.
That's who cleaned up the Capitol. Those pictures of the black and brown people cleaning up the mess that the white people made.
Yeah. That needs to be repaid.
Yeah.
In any way you can. First of all, it's just like, hey, get down on your knees and be grateful for that. Say a prayer for them. Give them, share with them your abundance. This white supremacy stuff, there is no supremacy there. It's all the same because we all are one.
Oh, that is so good. That's a beautiful name. Did you kick around other names?
I can't even remember how, but it needs to be everybody's mantra. We all are one. If one of us is hungry, we're all hungry. If one of us is sick, has the pandemic showed us anything else but that if one of us is sick, we're all sick. And, until we're all well, until we've all got the vaccine, nobody's going to be well.
I feel like I'm at church. I do. This is better than church. That is so beautiful. That's why you inspire people. And I feel like that's part of why you have had such an incredible career over such a long period of time. You have such a way of understanding the human condition and the nuances of emotion And it just comes through, I think. So we're thankful for that. We have one last question we ask everybody because I've taken too much of your time. What do you keep in the trunk of your car, Annie Potts? What's in there?
I keep my swimming gear because I'm always ready to swim. And if I have an hour and a half, I will go, I belong to a club, and thank God it's remained open because the pool is outdoors. And if it's above 60, I get into the trunk of my car and I get my swimsuit and my wetsuit jacket out, and I swim.
What? What kind of like strokes are we doing here?
I just do freestyle.
Wow.
You know, when I was 21, I was in a very bad car accident, and drunk drivers hit me, and I broke every bone in my body below my waist but one, everything. So I have spent the last almost 50 years trying to recover. And so if I don't swim, my body just falls apart. So I keep my swimming gear at the ready.
You're good to go. Wow. We have a theory that whatever's in your trunk can be like a picture of where you are in your life. So, you are swimming every day. Good for you, Annie Potts.
Well, hey, it's it's my sanity too. It's my meditation. I just put my face in the water, and that's when
you do your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you too, since we binge watch you, what do you binge watch? Anything?
There've been so many good things to binge. I binge the heck out of The Great.
The Great?
It's so good. About Catherine the Great.
Oh.
I mean, talk about an amazing woman. And Elle Fanning is effing fabulous. I mean, and a great British actor named, his last name is Holt. Anyway, they're magnificent. The guy who wrote The Favorite, that wonderful movie, and that was fabulous. And gosh, what else? The Queen's Gambit. Everybody went nuts for that. So beautiful. And a lot of documentaries. I don't know. We've been because of course we've been home. So anyway, those are my two main ones.
Those are good tips. All right, people will have to watch it now.
Of course, I like everybody else. I've been binging the news. It's like I feel like Rachel Maddow's my best friend. I just
have you
love
ever met her?
I have not. I would probably like pass out, you know,
with gratitude and
yes, her brilliance and her being on it. I just, you know,
I think we're all craving the truth, and anywhere we find it, we're just so happy.
Hello, I mean, we need to out the big lie. Mm-hmm. I feel so, I mean, Rupert Murdoch, wherever you are, you've done a lot of damage. I mean, a news organization is supposed to tell the truth.
Right.
I mean, people are supposed to tell the truth. No wonder people storm the Capitol, because lies, what a web we weave when first we practice to deceive that.
I hope better days are ahead anyway.
They are. It's the beginning. You know, it's the age of Aquarius that us old hippies taught. Yes, we just moved into that, you know. I follow a wonderful astrologer.
Do Who is it?
I did. She has a YouTube channel. She's a British woman named Pam Gregory. She's a very proper British woman. She looks like, she lives in a little village and maybe has a couple of corgis that she walks. And the site is called "You Don't Really Believe in Astrology, Do You?" And she will tell you what's going on. It's like she's so right on that you go, oh,
that's fun.
Anyway, I love her, and in the dark of it all, when I felt like, what was happening?
Yeah,
I would just go on Pam Gregory, and she will tell you. But yes, we've entered the age of Aquarius now, so
that's a relief, because whatever age we were in didn't seem to work out too well.
It was a tough one.
It was. I'm glad to be moving on.
Yeah, like the last 100 years have been bad. But we've turned a corner, believe it or not. It's only going to get better from here.
My gosh, you're making days over here. This is great. This is great news.
Yeah,
all right. I'll take what I can get.
It's okay. I have children too, and I know that they're in their 20s and 30s, and I know that I see how hard it's been for them.
It's very sad.
And I know that things are going to look up, but I've been in that place myself when you just go, this isn't looking good at all. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing about being old.
But it
you
is
live
so
through
worse.
enough, and you
go ahead. Sorry.
You know it's going to be okay.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right, because I agree with you. When I think about my son, that's when I get the most, upset. It's worse for him than I feel for myself, of course.
How old is he?
He's 8. And
You've had him at home?
Yeah, and it's like a stolen childhood, and you just think, you got a raw deal, kid.
But we have to stop thinking that way. It's not. You know what? It's going to be the making of him.
Oh.
It will be. You'll see he will have gathered special strength from it. Mm-hmm. It will be that everything that we think is a crisis and the worst thing that ever happened to us, I can tell you that is the thing that makes us. So don't be sad about that. It's okay. That's when the stuff, your metal is summoned up, and it makes us. So take heart. It's okay. He'll be wonderful from it. And in years to come, it'll be like, remember the year I spent at home with my mom?
Yeah. Remember all those extra snuggles?
Yes.
I hope so.
All of that. So, and we have it all in common, and people, it's like being in the theater together. I read this someplace, and I know it's true. When people come to a theater and are watching all of them, the same thing, whether it's a comedy that you laugh at or whether it's a drama that makes your heart start to expand, that in those circumstances, when people gather in a theater, people's hearts start to beat together. Mm. So in all of this crisis, our hearts are starting to beat together. I think that. I believe that. I have to.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I feel like you're my life coach now. You were my pastor, and now you're my life coach. It's such a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on Brain Candy. We're so honored, and we hope everyone keeps supporting All Are One. I'm so impressed and inspired by you.
Oh, thank you.
You're
I appreciate
off the hook, Annie.
I hope you enjoyed that show. You got this far, so you must be a hardcore podcast fan. We'd love to invite you over to our podcast, Twinning at Life. We'll be gossiping about relationships, yes, ours included, bachelor chatter, pop culture, reality TV, and really a bunch of real life stuff. Come join us and have some fun. Just search Twinning It Life on your podcast app.